Hey guys, we got a real special show today. I'm actually going to turn this over to the guys that are putting on the Adopting Bitcoin conference here in El Salvador, and they're going to tell you about all the exciting things that are coming up. I just got in last night from a great conference in Lugano, and I'm excited to go down to LaBitConf in Argentina tomorrow. But I'm really excited to get back here to really what I think is the premier conference of the year, which is Adopting Bitcoin here in El Salvador, here in Bitcoin country. So make sure you don't miss it. Make sure you find out all the details from Charlie and his crew. And we will see you here in El Salvador in a week or so.
This is a podcast produced in Berlin, yeah.
Here we are, Charlie. So we are live from Bitcoin Beach from Berlin. Is that how we would describe it?
Yeah.
A special episode today for us and for Bitcoin Beach podcast.
It's a great opportunity. Yeah. So really appreciate for us to be able to produce this content here and to be able to share this room with these legends.
Yeah. Legends. Okay. My name is Pierre and I guess I'm officially the host, but we're all sort of here in this together. And why don't we just do a little go around for the audience who haven't met you guys yet. We have Charlie, Gerardo, and Quentin, all key players in the Berlin team, and all very involved in adopting Bitcoin in many different ways. So why don't we start with you guys just giving us a quickie intro on your role here and what your interests are and what your projects are. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of come around and then we'll bring it into adopting Bitcoin conference specifically. So let's start with you, Charlie, since you're right next to me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie is my name. I've been around here for the last 16 months, I'd say, in Berlin. We've seen great growth in this beautiful community, and it's stronger than ever now, thanks to God, which is great. The role here is adoption, Bitcoin adoption, which is right in line with our show today. Expanding adoption and deepening the type of adoption. So with education, with savings, with different systems that we have in here, and awareness for all of Berlin, and hopefully that can then percolate out towards El Salvador. But yeah, that's my role at the moment. I'm co-organizing Adopting Bitcoin as well, which has been a really great experience and a steep learning curve, and really, really excited for the next 2 weeks where we're gonna see a lot of people fly into the country to see what Bitcoin is like here in El Salvador. So that's my story, anyways. I'm sure we can get deeper into it as we go along.
Gerardo,
hey,
key player here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just a brief interruption. We'll get back to the exciting show here, but I just want to really ask a favor that you guys could make sure that you're subscribed if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are listening to this on a podcast, please take a second and review this. You don't even have to write a lengthy review or anything at all. Just click the number of stars that you want to give us. It really helps us in the algorithms to make sure people are finding out about what's happening here. All right, back to the show.
I'm Gerardo. My name is Gerardo. I've been living here in Berlin for past year and a half, and I'm helping with the Bitcoin adoption here in Berlin as well. Organizing the festival that we're gonna have in November here, 23rd of November, and learning, having fun with the guys here, and enjoying the life in Berlin.
Yeah. And Quentin with the milk.
Yeah, with the milk, raw milk.
Raw milk.
Yeah, so Quentin, I've lived here for a year now. It's been a week. Then that I can say it's been a year. Working at My First Bitcoin, started in La Piraya, now general manager, and very, very excited to discuss Bitcoin Week, adopting Bitcoin, and some other events that we're organizing with My First Bitcoin.
Nice. All right, so before we get into it, I just want to notify the viewers. So there's a lot of events happening over the month of November before and after the official conference. So make sure that you check out adoptingbitcoin.org because we may not get through all the events. There's a lot of really cool stuff, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's the main site. So just go there, and I'm scrolling here. There's a ton of information. So if you hear something or if we skip over something, you'll be able to find it here. And also, of course, on our official YouTube channel, Bitcoin Berlin SV is our Berlin channel for our own podcasts. So keep that in mind. And so let's just get into it here. This is a very special episode. So we're kind of linking the activities that we're doing in Berlin, our involvement in adopting. And Charlie, since you're one of the key organizers, can you give us a quick rundown of the kind of key sort of themes of the conference and what the sort of driving idea is first before we talk about all the specific events?
Yeah, that's a good starting point. The theme for adopting Bitcoin is crossing the chasm. So that's the statement for this year. We're moving into Bitcoin as medium of exchange, and adopting Bitcoin is trying to show that how Bitcoin can be used as medium of exchange. So the theme is to allow people to see how Bitcoin is being used as money, being able to meet the builders that are building on top of Bitcoin. There's over 1,000 people coming, but there's over 200 proposals for adopting Bitcoin. Wow. And that ranges from core developers, Bitcoin core developers, Lightning developers, people who are building on the Lightning protocol itself, but also on apps and websites and tools that are built on top of Lightning. Both local here, Salvadoreño, but also international builders. You've got educators from across the country. We've seen some really, really passionate and ambitious educators coming through the ranks here in El Salvador who will be present at the conference and have been preparing talks for that. So that's going to be good. We've got technical workshops on hands-on how to use Bitcoin, multi-signature, different types of products that are being used across the globe, how to use them properly, live action role plays on how Bitcoin works, the broadcasting mechanism, the proof of work mechanism, all of that. We've got a Bitcoin para Niños. We've got the whole expo hall, which has been sold out, which is brilliant, with loads of different Bitcoin companies. So it's a really, really, really wide range of activities to demonstrate trying to demonstrate the whole suite of what Bitcoin is. You can never really put your finger on what Bitcoin is, but we're going to do a damn good job at trying to get that across to people there.
Yeah. Wow. So you're covering education, culture, tech, and all of those things sort of come together in real life, really. And maybe Gerardo, let's jump to you on that, because you're more of a generalist, I think, in terms of the work that we're doing here. How do you see your role as a Berlin leader in adopting? So what are we going to translate from there, and what are we going to bring there, so that, because we're kind of a petri dish here,
Right.
Well,
no, first of all, thank you to Adopting, the people organizing Adopting Bitcoin, for inviting us to the conference. And like Charlie was saying, Adopting Bitcoin is about showing how Bitcoin can be a medium of exchange. And that's, when Berlin takes part of this. We have the opportunity to live here in Berlin, to be working on the adoption that is happening here. I think it's safe to say Berlin is the place in El Salvador where most Bitcoin adoption is happening, and that's what we are trying to show. We know there's a lot of people coming for the conference, and there's events being produced around the conference, and we're gonna just do one more. We would like people to come to Berlin and see how the Bitcoin adoption looks like. And not only that, but also showing people about El Salvador culture. Mm-hmm. We, as a Salvadorian, we have realized how people come to El Salvador wanting to learn more about our culture, about the places where they can visit, how we think, what we do, what we eat, you know. And if you add that to Bitcoin, so yeah, that's what we're gonna have in the festival.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of full package.
Yeah.
Bitcoiners are interested in a lot of things, and as you get to know more and more of them, especially here, the people coming through, I'm seeing some key themes with people in how it changes their lives a little bit. I
Right.
would say it starts with, oftentimes, it's first money, of course, then it moves to nutrition,
Right.
which is really interesting. And then I think that's now, I'm seeing sort of almost a maturation of broader culture and the
Yeah.
culture here,
No, definitely.
right? So I think that's really cool.
You guys really like milk.
Yeah.
And you know that's the kind of things slowly Salvadorians are
milk.
learning. Raw milk, yeah, not any milk.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, very controversial topic on Instagram and so on, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Since we're on to milk, let's move on to the milk educator over here,
Yeah, tell us about
Senor Quentin.
milk
Yeah.
there. Quentin.
Yeah, so meet Premier Bitcoin. You guys have been doing some amazing stuff. And I guess you have the unconference
Yes.
just before the adopting. So give us a little info on that, and then tell us about the
Yeah.
graduation that's coming.
Okay, so basically this week is the perfect moment to show what's been done in El Salvador for the past year. So adopting Bitcoin, which is great. I mean, it's going to be the third one I attend. And basically, as Charlie said, it's everything but politics and the Bitcoin price, which is great because these are the two topics that are just the most boring and that we can find at kind of every conference. So this is the only one that is really interesting in terms of adoption, education, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be the conference, but before that, there's going to be the on-conference, and this is a different model. Let's say that we started here in San Salvador a year ago with Mi Primer Bitcoin, where it's basically it's like a conference, but it's limited to 150 people. And it's focused at education, Bitcoin education, and how to share best practices, connect, and it's really dedicated to Bitcoin educators. Really, really small venue. It's made to network, and it's made in a way that the schedule is kept loose. So basically, we have three spaces. We have one where you have speakers that are scheduled. Another one where you have speakers, but they're not scheduled. It's at the beginning of the day. You have everyone that wants to present a topic will get on stage and say, I want to talk about this. Who wants to participate, wants to listen to me. Okay, we add it to the whiteboard. And then the schedule is made as we go, let's say. And the third space is kept open for discussions and just networking. So it's gonna be the fourth one. We did three. It's gonna be the third one this year and the fourth one in total. So it's something that we know how to organize now, and we've also open sourced how to organize an unconference. So now any educator in any country can take the blueprint and adapt it to organize their own unconference, which is what we hope for in 2025. And it seems like people love it because last year we sold out for the first one, and this year we're already at, I think we of the 150 tickets, we have only 29 left, and it's still we still have 2 weeks, and it's in the last 2 weeks that most tickets are purchased. So we're probably gonna sell out. So that's good. And right before the unconference, we have a graduation, and so basically what that is our flagship program, the Bitcoin Diploma. Is a 10-week program, and at the end of it, we organize graduations with the students. And we had a series of diplomas in an institute in Ilopango, and we'll graduate, I believe, 150 students on the 13th. And we invite all Bitcoiners who are there to come and not only attend the event, but also participate in it by verifying that the students really know about Bitcoin. So
That's the one-on-one where they
yes,
sit
exactly.
with them.
And it's a really, really cool moment.
Yeah.
I've done it like...
You guys done that?
I've seen it.
You
I haven't
did?
done it personally. I've watched it on
Okay.
video live. And
Well, you
it's
should
so
do
cool.
it. It's really, really good. It's a great moment.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Last year we did one down in Usulutan in Lainu, and that was that was a moment, like a real historical moment for me, being able to go face to face with these students and hear them talk about the difficulty adjustment and stuff like that, and just being like, what?
That graduation is a really emotional, like really amazing event to see.
You can.
It's just like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. It's really just to see the young people, and they just get it. Like, they get it more than some of us do. In terms of
intuitively. Yeah, right. The organization as well of these graduations is just pristine. So that really blew my mind. Not only from the Me Premier Bitcoin team, but also the secondary school. So yeah, it's a real event. So anybody who's around, I recommend doing it. It's gives you a sense of Bitcoin country at its core.
Yeah,
but also with regards to the young conference, if it's in the same place as last year, Cadejo, Montaña Cadejo, it's a beautiful venue. I mean, it's on top of these hills where you have this awesome view of San Salvador. So not only are you getting to learn about Bitcoin education, but you get to share a few craft beers with some friends looking over San Salvador. So
exactly. Beautiful venue, beautiful people. There will be food included with the ticket. So it's going to be a great day. Yeah. And only 29 tickets left. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Do I have a ticket for that yet? I think I do.
You should check.
I better make sure. I'm looking at this list, and I'm like, I want to go to almost everything. And then my friends are like, when are you going to sleep? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, right.
Afterwards.
So it basically starts on the 13th. That's sort of the beginning. Let me just walk through this here quickly. Yeah. Okay. So the 13th is the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
And then we have the conference, of course, on the 15th and 16th, for those who haven't checked yet. So Charlie, let's walk through a few highlights. Maybe anything that comes to mind for you that people may not know about, that maybe you're like just a little gem of an event at the larger event.
Am
I putting you on the spot?
No, not at all. No, there's ton of events. There's obviously there's a bit devs before adopting Bitcoin in terms of all these side events. I mean, there's well over 16, 17 side events.
There's 21.
Classic, is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I counted. I just went through the whole list, and there's some that I didn't even know about. So.
Yeah. Right. So it's hard to be able to.
List there? Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's hard to be able to encapsulate all of it in one. But you have the bit devs, and this is for more the technical side of things. You know, you have a group like Sovereignty Studios. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching have seen Michael Ruiz and Jordan smash out some really high quality videos recently. They do these amazing retreats where if you're interested in getting to know the right people in El Salvador, this is the sort of retreat you want to go to. So yeah, they did one in the Bitcoin Mansion. You've got a barrage of different parties. You've got Bitcoin Life, who take care of the helicopters, which is pretty cool. They have a party on the Friday night. Blink are taking care of a really cool party on the Friday night. But before that, which is one that I really want to highlight, is the film festival. The film festival is going to be on in Muna, which is the anthropological museum in San Salvador, and they're playing Dirty Coin, which talks about Bitcoin mining, and it's directed towards policy decision makers and those interested in understanding what role does Bitcoin have to play in the energy systems, and it's huge. It's really huge, and the movie is top class. So anybody looking to have an experience, get to meet some decision makers, let's say, and have a night at the theatre at the Anthropological Museum. There'll be a few drinks beforehand, lovely theatre, and then a panel discussion afterwards. The film festival is a really cool opportunity. It's Bang Center in San Salvador as well.
That's on November 14th.
Yeah, November 14th, the night before the conference. And then after that, it's going to be the speakers dinner for anyone of the speakers who's interested. That'll be after the film festival. With regards to the conference itself, just to give people an idea, there's a main stage which is huge, but one thing that was requiring a lot of work and stuff, we're getting a lot of art into the country, which getting through customs is something. But I mean, Fractal Encrypt, if people have seen his work, is superb. Like, I just saw a thread of his 8-month acid trip that he had there recently. But like, this is kind of the product of someone who's put a lot of thought into his art and has had a lot of experience. And he's leading the charge with over 60 pieces of art that are going to be shown at the conference, and it's going to be front and center in front of the main stage. So I'm really excited. I've already seen some pieces of the art, and we've got classical artists that are just getting into Bitcoin and are implementing Bitcoin into their art. And there's a lot of parallels. Art lasts for a long time, like the Mona Lisa, and Da Vinci and
Proof of work.
Right, proof of work as well.
It's a very solid asset.
And it's a theme that we've been seeing in other conferences, right? But I think it's just stepping up again and again. And Fractal himself said this is the best bit of art that he's seen, and he's led a lot of pieces and a lot of galleries.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, Bitcoin para Niños. There's Sela, who's coming over from Germany, just dedicating herself just to Bitcoin para Niños. She organized the one in Madeira, so she'll be doing the one here as well. So I'm really excited to see that.
That's teenagers, kids.
So kids go get in for free. You've got someone like Ian Foster, who's an Austrian he's an accountant, a qualified accountant, lived in Malawi for over a decade, but really well versed in Austrian economics, and he's actually done this project with his kids, his young kids. I mean, he's got 3 kids, lovely lads, and they have this initiative called Econo Kids, where they're teaching Austrian economics to kids through cartoons, and it's narrated by his children. And this is amazing. This is going to be shown at Bitcoin para Niños at intervals, so kids can be exposed to not the Keynesian side of economics, but more on the savings and long time preference and the idea of capital goods and stuff like that. So we're really doing a whole encompassing Bitcoin education here. So yeah, every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps. I get more excited.
There's a lot. I did not know anything about that event, so that's really
that's
cool
that's going to be within the conference.
Yeah.
That's in on the grass, and that's going to be
people,
important.
would that be sort of like you can bring your children there and they're sort of taken care of, or do the parents have to stay with them, you think? Or
Yeah, well, I'm probably not the best place to talk about this. Probably Kiki is, but it shouldn't be treated as a nursery, right?
Of course.
But you can drop your kid off and go and the idea is that you can go and watch your favorite speaker, and you don't have to be worried about your kid. Yeah, 100%. Okay. And there'll be qualified people who are there looking over and taking care of the
really
kids.
Cool.
yeah, that's a really good idea.
So yeah, just encouraging all families to come over and do it, and don't let it to be an excuse for not to come to El Salvador and see what Bitcoin is like. Right.
And then we're gonna be we're gonna have our own little spot outside, correct? For
Yes.
Bitcoin Berlin.
Yeah, we're gonna have a booth that we're given by the Charlie and the people organizing Adopting Bitcoin. Again, thanks for that. So yeah, no, exciting to share what we've done here in Berlin. If you have any questions, we're gonna be there. If you want to support, if you want to take a shirt, a Berlin shirt. If you want to ask questions, if you want to get more information about the project, we're gonna be there in Adopting Bitcoin. And it's quite interesting because the location, never been there. I've only seen pictures, and it looks amazing. And it's a little bit different than the other, the previous Adopting Bitcoin.
I think Salamanca is completely different to the hotels. So it'll be a different vibe. But with regards to Bitcoin Berlin and being present there, I think circular economies is a huge aspect of the conference, of trying to get across Bitcoin as money. So I think if anybody wants to figure out more about Berlin and ask the Berliners what it's like to live in a town that
there's going to be a lot of Berliners in Adopting.
Yeah, we're quite the group going down, so it's going to be a fun weekend.
And we're planning to take some locals as well. Maybe take a bus with all the locals and go there. We did that last year. We took a few local Berliners, and they were really happy to go there. We're going to do it again this year. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people from Berlin in the conference.
And do we have an official, we have one panel, correct, about Berlin?
Yeah, there's we're going to have, I think, Spanish, not sure yet, but yeah, Evelyn, my girlfriend, she co-founded the project. She's going to be there with Patty and another local young student from Berlin too. So yeah, Nikki and James as well. You know, they've been living here in Berlin for the past year now. They're also going to be talking about Berlin and the project and their experience living here. So it's really interesting. We are living in a Bitcoin standard here. I don't know about you guys, but if I don't want to spend any, money or cash or dollars here, I don't. I just use my Bitcoin wallet. And yeah, you want to know how that is?
A lot of
Go to the
people
conference.
coming in that I've been chatting with online, and friends and new friends. They're trying to wrap their mind around how we live here, that we're on the Bitcoin standard, and I was just explaining how the day goes, and
Right.
but you spend your Bitcoin, and I'm like, every day.
Right.
But it's so high today. I'm like, I don't know what the price is today. I know it's high. Everyone's telling me, but I don't know what it is.
I mean, you got to spend, right?
Because there's nothing else that you have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I need to eat, so I'm going to spend my money that I use.
Spend it in a place. What do I replace it with?
Yeah, especially as a foreigner, it's hard to get cash. So I mean, it can get hard to get cash. So it's just easy to spend Bitcoin. And if you earn Bitcoin, it makes it easier. It makes even more sense to just spend the Bitcoin.
Yeah, but even if you earn dollars, you can easily exchange them for Bitcoin here, and at the end you still need to pay, your stuff, your food, your coffee, your rent. And here in Berlin, you can actually pay with Bitcoin. Yeah. So even if you get paid in cash or dollars, you can turn them into Bitcoin and spend it.
Yeah, that's a huge thing here. People have actually moved here because they have such a access to the liquidity, to Bitcoin liquidity. Take their cash out, buy their Bitcoin. It's a big thing. Non KYC Bitcoin, people pay a big fee for that across the world.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Better than Bitcoin and
really good
non-KYC Bitcoin.
It's a really good strategy.
Right.
It makes sense. So Quentin, what are you looking forward to at the conference? So once your unconference is done, are you just going to be able to kind of be a spectator, or do you have any? Are you going to be on any panels, or are you guys?
I won't be myself, but we'll have many people from the team. So that's really exciting. I think we'll be on like 6 or 7 talks and panels. So that's a good representation.
Yeah.
And yeah, really excited about adopting Bitcoin. The first 2 that I attended were just amazing. And I think this third one will be at least as good. And with the new venue, I really look forward to discovering it and seeing how it looks, how it feels, and how the conference goes. So
now, when your team is planning an event like this, obviously there's a lot of meetings involved and a lot of thinking ahead. Do you sort of strategize in terms of what adopting is working on, like the sort of crossing the chasm, or do you guys have your own sort of let's insert these new ideas that we've been working on, or what's the sort of approach to that?
Well, that's a great
philosophically
question.
and strategically.
Yeah, so I think we're really, really, really aligned value-wise. So we just focus on what we do best, which is education, and I think adopting focuses on what they do best, which is organizing a great conference about education, about adoption. So yeah, we'll be basically showing off. Like we'll show what we've been working on in 2024 and what we'll do in 2025, and I think it will be a great moment to just get more people involved in the mission as well, because this is what we're looking for.
Yeah, right. Me Premier Bitcoin make the job really easy for adopting Bitcoin by having some stellar team members of Me Premier Bitcoin who are high performance individuals who understand the mission of what Bitcoin education is and can show up and then explain what they've done, their own experience of teaching and doing something that is not being done really much around the world. Developing a node network across the globe, trying to explain the difficulties, the obstacles of that. And, going to remote parts of the country and trying to establish communities. There's a lot of things that you learn from doing these things, and Me Premier Bitcoin are at the forefront of that. They just slot in and explain. And they're here in El Salvador. You know, they're here in El Salvador. The people who are doing the biggest amount of change with regards to Bitcoin education live here and get to go to this conference and explain it to the rest of the world. So I'm super impressed with the initiative with Me Premier Bitcoin, with the team and how they work together, both in English and Spanish. So I'm really excited to hear the panels.
Yeah.
For sure.
One thing I notice, there's so much amazing activity just in this country alone, never mind the world, in terms of Bitcoin. And there's a lot of these little branches happening now. People are just starting cool projects, and I've been really following sort of, for example, Murph's Life, which isn't a Bitcoin project, but he's a Bitcoiner now. And then Sovereignty Studios, which we talked about, and I'm sometimes I get overwhelmed and like, man, how do we even keep track of all this? Like, it'd be really interesting, like with you guys especially, your project, because it's very specific. How are you guys planning or documenting this? Is there any way to sort of follow with video or I know you have channels and so on, but you're making history is what I'm saying. So, and we have video, we have all this technology now, whereas 200 years ago we'd be teaching people to read and there's no documentation of it. So for me, it's really interesting because we're living in this very kind of sort of physical, sort of spiritual, sort of textural world, but it's also very digital. And it'd be nice for us to all think about that a little bit more. You guys are doing it too with adopting.
Yeah, well, documenting what we're doing,
Just everything.
It's huge. Yeah,
There's a lot.
There's a lot to be able to show to the world and to look back on, really. Since it's only 3 years since Bitcoin's been adopted, I don't think people realize the extent of what's happening here. Sometimes you lose sight, or you forget to see the forest from the trees, you know, as they say. I think documenting is really important. We're going to have an after movie for adopting Bitcoin. So there's also be a podcast studio within adopting Bitcoin established by Bitcoin Beach. So they're going to set up a state-of-the-art podcast studio within the conference and get to bring people in. And if someone's interested in doing podcasts, they can just schedule it in with Paco from Bitcoin
that's great.
Beach.
Yeah, I'm talking to some guys on School. There's a lot of Bitcoiners there. It's just exploding on that platform, and they're all about everybody's. I think I'm going to be with 3 different podcasts now, which is really fun. So everyone sort of wants to interview each other, and they have just different niche topics. They're all going to be there. So
Oh, brilliant!
So it's really cool. It's just sparking these things, and the conference is kind of a place where it's a confluence of all of this, right? And it's not just like some people are like, oh, I'm not going to go, that's too techie for me. I'm like, no, there's way more, because I'm not a techie guy at all.
No, yeah.
But I'm interested in the stuff, right?
That's a huge aspect of it. We have people who don't know anything about Bitcoin, who want to learn more about Bitcoin. You've got a lot of locals who've just heard about it and are interested in coming. There's going to be workshops on both of the days in Spanish as well, of just introducing people to Bitcoin. So if they arrive in, they don't have a clue, they can go to a workshop in the morning, get an overview of what Bitcoin is, and then they can approach with a bit less ignorance over the course of the day. But yeah, you've got, US ambassadors who are going to be coming in, who are trying to get, or like people are trying to orange pill them, bring them to the conference. You've got investors, angel investors, venture capitalists.
Do we have any Canadian politicians coming?
I don't know.
I know we've got some. Like,
you look very excited, Pierre.
See who's coming, because it's got to be somebody. They got to be sending somebody.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kiki is on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. So no, brilliant. The documenting side of things is a really, really good point.
That's kind of my interest in the sort of cultural aspect of this. Young fellow we met here, maybe I forget his name now, from Japan. 6 weeks ago he was here.
Yuri.
Yes, you met him. Yes. He's doing a PhD in anthropology on the adoption of Bitcoin. So
the societal effects.
And then Gerardo, we're doing our little post festival here.
Yep.
Right. So to introduce the anyone who's still at adopting and wants to tour around the country, we want to bring them up here.
Yeah, it's gonna be the weekend after.
Yep.
So adopting Bitcoin starts on Friday. That's the 15th, right?
Correct.
You're doing it next week on Saturday, the 23rd of November. And we were at the beginning when we were planning the festival, we were thinking about the date, we expect to have a lot of Salvadorians in the festival, right? Also expats or Bitcoiners visiting Berlin. But the goal was to attract Salvadorians to see how Bitcoin works. There's going to be a bunch of Berliners here as well that they already know how Bitcoin works. And that's why we did it the weekend after, because Salvadorians, it's easier for them if we do it on a weekend. So that's why we're doing it the weekend after. And the goal is that show, expats and Salvadorians how Bitcoin works in a city. Mm-hmm. It's going to be on the main plaza, the main park, which, it's a little bit of challenge. We have done some other events here in Berlin before on private locations. Now there's, some bureaucracy and stuff going on now that we're trying to do it on the main park. But yeah, we're going to do it and it's going to be public.
And the town is supportive and involved in the organization.
Yeah, we needed to get them involved, like the whole municipality and the local, authorities, and we're gonna do it at the Central Park. It's free. It's not charged. It's gonna be free.
Yeah.
Just come with your Bitcoin and come here to spend. Ask people about Bitcoin and go visit the rest of Berlin.
It's a really good opportunity for anyone who wants to take a road trip, even a day trip from the beach or from the city, or if they want to come overnight, which we would obviously encourage them to do.
Absolutely. There's a farmer's market then in Berlin the day after as well, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some other, because we've been talking to the tourism board, the local tourism board here.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to have something prepared for the next day. There's also going to be the Bitcoin farmers market that we have had a few times here in Berlin. So definitely, if you want to stay, it's going to be the whole day. We're going to start at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that's how early Salvadorians like to start celebrations.
Go through the schedule a little bit. I think it's super interesting.
So what we do on the celebrations here is that we start giving away some atol chucos. So it's some atole.
Can you explain people what atol is?
It's just a mix of a lot of things. Everyone takes it differently. So yeah. And at 7 a.m., we just give that in the Central Park, really early in the morning. There's families and people going to eat it. We're going to have later on in the morning some activities for kids, balloons and clowns and music and some other activities for kids. Then we're going to take a rest at noon and we're going to be back around 2 p.m. We're going to start with a ritual, Maya Lenka ritual, that is going to be done by some people that we have invited. We're going to open the celebration or, the festival with that, Lenka Maya tour. Never been in one of them. I'm not sure what to expect, how many roosters we're going to kill or what. No, I don't know how the ritual is going to be. But
So explain the Lenka. Is it the people that used to live in Berlin before? Or?
Yeah. So in El Salvador, the people that was living here before Europeans were Lencas and Mayas. This side of the country was mostly Lencas. And before we have found some, things that said that there's some of that people that live here in this mountain. And there's still some culture about that here. And we're going to do that. So after the whole ritual, we're going to have, a few words from local authorities. And then we're going to have eating pupusa competition and some music and some contests. And it's going to be the whole day until...
So how many you can eat or how fast you can eat?
No, how many. Many you can eat.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
So...
I've done 15.
Have you?
That's
impressive.
What do you win? Or what do you win?
I'm not doing it again. That's for
You get more
Stomachache,
you win
that's what you win.
your supply of pupusas or something?
Yeah.
Maybe, or some sats?
No, there's gonna be a SATS prize for the winner
intense.
or the winners.
That's actually sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I mean, it's gonna be cool. People eating
fun.
pupusas.
Sats to pupusas is the best ratio that I like to use around here.
Right.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the best ratio ever. Like, do you know? Okay,
It's actually
okay.
a good, it's a good measuring.
Okay,
It's
so
a great
explain that.
measuring
Explain
device.
that.
Right.
You know
So-
what it costs.
Exactly.
You know how big they are.
I
You know
mean,
you
and
need
it's
8 to get full.
substantive. It's a very, very staple thing. It's highly fungible. It's pupusas. They're pretty fungible across
Fungible.
across the country. You know, it's a base commodity, like pretty much wheat and beans. You know, so you know it's pretty decentralized in terms of the production of pupusas, which brings down the price of it. So it's a really good metric of the level of production of a country. So you're able, if your ratio of Bitcoin to pupusas is a great way to see how you're evolving as a country in terms of your production levels.
I see a university course on the way.
Yeah.
I see a whole
Professor
thesis there.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Pupusa standard.
No, Bitcoin to pupusas, guys.
It's great.
Mark my words, it's coming.
Try to convince Saifuddin.
Oh yeah.
The
Is he
pupusa
gonna be
standard.
here?
No, but it's better than fucking dollars, because you can. It's like no, seriously,
guess.
it's being produced up in the States. It's a massive monopoly, and it's like
Right.
I love it.
yeah.
So we have, I'm looking at the poster here. We've got Cacao, Pupusa Eating Challenge, marching bands. Are we going to have Mr. Joel's band?
No, I don't think Joel's band's gonna be there because it's gonna be just the one band.
Okay.
And
So
yeah,
one's probably enough.
I think they're sick of bands
There's
already.
a lot of bands.
There was last month and the one before, a lot of bands going on here in Berlin. I mean, they're fun, but yeah.
Okay.
But there's gonna be one marching band.
Okay.
Yeah. A big thing here is horses as well.
Yes.
If you want to show that you have status in Berlin, you own
Yeah,
a horse.
You own a horse.
Yeah, and
The bigger the horse, the better.
the bigger the wallet. Oh,
Yeah. What's the old joke? Never keep an animal in your barn that eats while you're sleeping, or something like that. On the cost, you know how expensive horses are to feed, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. So we've got our festival on the 23rd. Let me just run through a couple of quick points here, just for the audience. They can look it up for the details.
Yeah.
So we've got the Freedom Riders, which is a small group of motorcyclists doing a tour
yes.
of San Salvador, starting at adopting.
Alan
That's
Jackson.
Jackson and his friends. They're going to be on beautiful big BMW bikes.
Mhm.
It's kind of a nice, kind of a posh sort of motorcycle trip. They're
Yeah.
staying in nice hotels.
They're coming to Berlin.
beautiful
I mean,
food. Yeah.
Oh, he has a whole schedule for
Oh, yeah.
Berlin,
Yes.
including checking out Doña Silvia's, going to Cafe 303.
yeah. I think some of us are gonna join. You know, not the whole trip, but once they come to Berlin, we're gonna take our bike and
Yeah.
and go with them.
On
Why
the
not?
17th, Lee, our buddy Lee here, is organizing the Freedom Convoy. So anyone who's on a motorbike in the city,
Huh.
I think I may be wrong. I know they're raising money for something. It's a small entry fee, but they're all going to ride together from the city all the way down to Zonte with the Freedom Riders, and then I guess they'll be partying at the
Cool.
beach after. So that's kind of fun. So anybody with a motorbike, check out the website and have a look at that and join those guys. Then there's the boot camp down at the beach, right, with Luke Broyles.
Yeah,
That looks pretty cool.
that's a high ticket item.
That's like, yes,
Well,
it
it'd be
is. That's a wow. 17th to 24th. That's a good event. That's going to be pretty serious.
Yeah, Luke is a great dude, highly enthusiastic, very knowledgeable, and he's working alongside his friend who's a bit more technical.
Mhm.
So it's both the
It's balanced out.
yeah, exactly.
Good.
That would be good.
And then there's Noster Day, which at the mansion, which will be really, really beautiful location for Noster. Wow. Right? That place is
The Bitcoin Mansion.
yeah.
Beautiful. That's
And
where the
that's-
Sovereignty Studios guys have had their retreat previously.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's free. You just have to RSVP. So you get to see that beautiful mansion.
Yeah, Tanya is the one who's organizing the Noster booth at Adopting Bitcoin. It's by far the biggest booth in the whole conference. It's like 8 meters wide,
wow.
and it's pimped out. Tanya is an amazing event manager. She only got into Bitcoin about 4 or 5 months ago, but she helped out with Bitcoin Prague, I'm pretty sure, and Amsterdam, if I'm correct. She is organizing the whole Noster booth, so they're bringing in clients to be able to present themselves at this Noster booth, which will be, I think it's really important to show the world that how powerful Noster is, not only as a Twitter replacement or an X replacement, but how it's a way for you to build up a presence, a digital presence or a digital identity without having any risk of being deplatformed. And people say this all the time, and I was like, oh, is that really that important? But I can see some of my friends who are building up a following and they're putting their life's work into this platform, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube. They're acquiring tens and thousands of followers with the intention of being able to make an income down the line.
Right.
So this is your life's work, and then imagine you spend multiple years. Dude, we know this with Riley, right? You spend your life's work, you get 100,000 followers, that's your income stream, and then the stuff you might talk about vaccines or fasting, and you might be deplatformed.
Fasting was a hate crime, I think, is what it was.
Well, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to talk about fasting on YouTube or Instagram. You got deplatformed for talking about fasting.
Yeah.
So,
Do you?
no, he literally got deplatformed for
Wiped
talking
out
about
one day.
fasting because it's saying it
I
was
should hide my raw milk then.
no, raw milk is
That's
also
very
illegal.
controversial. The
Yeah.
SWAT team's going to be
Yeah.
here any minute.
That's why I'm here.
In our bunker, our little safe bunker. Nobody can get us. But yeah, you're right.
But that's huge, and that's the social media side. Then when you start talking about Alex Svetsky's
Yeah.
coming up here to
Shout out
Berlin.
Atlantis, right?
Right, exactly. Satlantis is this Noster client that he's building that's been helped by one of the venture capitalists, Jack Lee. He's invested into Satlantis, but Satlantis is this amazing client that's taken the idea from kind of like TripAdvisor, Nomad List, and being able to highlight Bitcoin circular economies and the best aspects, the best businesses within there, being able to have reviews under each one of these businesses, being able to sort the reviews based on the amount of sats that have been attributed towards it, and being able to have NPubs being assigned to each one of these vendors and each individual.
So go check that out, satlantis.io. Sign up. Get your if you're not on Nostr yet, do it. And there's a whole bunch of cities on there. We're in there. We're just getting started. We're just starting to build it up.
Yeah.
But all the Bitcoin circular economies are on there. So it's basically going to be a really cool platform for people who are sort of nomads, travelers. And I think it could probably evolve into just a full-on social platform for all of the businesses.
Yeah. Well, think about what is the biggest sort of underground market that we have at the moment. What's the most unregulated market that we use? Facebook Marketplace, right? That's the most used. That's peer-to-peer around the place. If that really kind of scales up and people start to start making considerable amount of revenue through Facebook, then they're reliant on the Facebook platform to keep them up.
That's scary.
Nostr is a way to have marketplaces where you're sending Bitcoin for products, and that there's absolutely no way for you to be cut off. These aspects. I think this is going to be very big over the next decade or two.
And I think an event like Adopting Bitcoin, where we will have, high-level developers, people that are changing the world, and then we've got teenagers in one place, and they're kind of talking about these things, and it's mind-blowing that this is happening. I don't think you would ever have seen an event like this with another. I can't imagine it because it's the technology first, and then it's the idea of it. So what do you think, Quentin, with the kids that are coming? So you've been to a few events already. In terms of like the innocence and the kind of openness that kids have versus people who are doing the coding, like a Svetsky or anyone who's financing these really complex revolutionary projects. But then these two things coming together. So what do the kids talk about? Like what's the sort of vibe in there? Are they hopeful? Are they...
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, because their country is changing a lot here in El Salvador. So kids are really, really excited about the future. That's the first thing. And then when you teach them about Bitcoin, they get really excited. I mean, a kid is just excited by new stuff and new discoveries, new knowledge and new ideas and everything. So, yeah, they're just super excited about it. They retain the knowledge much better than adults, and it's a mindset that comes to them very, very early in their life. So it prepares them for everything that comes next, whereas adults will have to deconstruct a lot of stuff. The fiat mindset is really deeply ingrained in all of us. So with kids, you start earlier, and it's easier afterwards to just continue on that path,
Okay.
to teach them about Bitcoin and sovereignty and all these values that are shared through Bitcoin. Because really, that's what we do with Mi Primer Bitcoin. It's not really about Bitcoin education. It's about empowering people, and Bitcoin is just the tool to do that. So it's all about empowerment and giving sovereignty to individuals. So that's what we do. Yeah.
The cool idea behind that, what you just said there. I was just reading the other day about I forget what the 4 stages are, but there's 4 stages of human development, and the first one is play, where it's unscripted, no rules. If we were all 4 years old in the sandbox, we would naturally find rules between each other. I'd push you, you'd push me back. Okay, I can't push you. So, and that's play. So you learn physical, creative, mental, spiritual. You learn it all through play. Then we structure it. And then we take the kids, put them in a box. And then the magic is gone. And then it's rote learning. Then you learn to question everything. And then so reason and logic. Then when you surpass that stage, you start playing again and you create. You're an artist, a developer, a musician, a scientist, whatever it is. So you have to go right back to your childhood in order to create and innovate. But the openness has to be there. Not everyone has the openness. So that's where
the initial openness from when you're
exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea is, for example, when guys are going, a bunch of guys go and play basketball or soccer, you're free again, right? So it's that sovereignty where it's I'm just free to kick and throw and sweat and laugh and all those things. So it's kind of neat. So this conference, I can sort of see that where you have that spirit of play, but it's got a foundation of really, really, really amazing technology. And
who've done the work, who've gone into the box, who've focused in, but then also are like, well, what is the future? At the end of the day, that's our limit, is our imagination. What did Einstein say? Someone who's fairly logical, I'd say. Like
you kind of have to have the right brain
the
and
imagination.
left brain. You have to let them both interact, because one or the other, if you're only right brain, you're just going to be, throwing paint on the wall. And if you're only left brain, you're just going to be sitting there, doing numbers and not sharing it with anyone. So you got to. So this conference is cool because looking at all this stuff, it's like I
pure play.
It's got a lot of play.
We'll have change,
especially all the workshops and everything.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, I remember the first one. It was my first Bitcoin conference, actually. It was adopting Bitcoin 2022, and you had all these. I mean, the venue is changing, but you had all these rooms in which you had all these workshops, and it was so interesting how to run a node, how to do lightning rebalancing for your channels and whatnot, and other things. It was so interesting. And looking at the schedule for this year, it looks like it's going to be even more like this.
Yeah.
And
there's
and,
a lot.
Yeah. And actually with Mi Primer Bitcoin, we're going to be doing a workshop. So basically, we just released the intro course, which is a 60-minute course divided in 2 parts. The first one is 30 minutes of theory, and the second is around 30 minutes of onboarding. And the idea is that with this, you kind of arm your student with the tools to understand why they need Bitcoin, but also how to use Bitcoin and receive their first sats. Now, the struggle is, how do you onboard someone in a non-custodial way, right? Because you can do it on chain, but you have to pay for the fees. You can do it on Lightning, but then you have to open the channel, which means first on-chain transaction. So it's kind of tricky. But the way we did it is that we made it neutral. So basically, you can onboard, you can adapt the course with any tool that you like to use, whether it be Blink as a custodial solution, or Phoenix, or on-chain, or whatever. And you can adapt the course to your onboarding tool and still impact your student in the same way. And we'll be giving the course at adopting each day, I think. The course will be given by Jesus and Jorge, I believe, and we'll be collaborating with an open source project that is called LightSats, and that basically does onboarding via Lightning tips. and it's a really cool project. I didn't know about it.
We used it here.
yeah?
Rams showed us. So we did vouchers. Yeah, it's
Well,
amazing.
exactly.
It's
So that's what
amazing.
we're gonna use, and yeah, so workshops. It's just, I think it's the best part of this conference because you really get your hands on practical stuff that you can reuse. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this conference.
Yeah, the developer the founder of LightSats will be talking at the conference as well. He's he's an absolute genius. Got a lot of projects done. A lot of Lightning developers who started since 2017. We're just talking to someone who's setting up this Bitcoin post office, trying to decentralize the courier service through Lightning. Like
That's something else.
That's how we're
There
talking.
we go. LightSats. Orange pill the world around you, one tip at a time. I love it. That's great.
So we had this before where we wanted to incentivize people to use vouchers, and we gave prizes of vouchers if they went to shop into a vendor who had Bitcoin. So whenever you shop there, you got a voucher and that had Bitcoin in it. So it just incentivizes people to download a wallet and to be able to obtain their first sats. And we also did a project when we did these cars drive around Berlin where you have different companies for each car. We had a Bitcoin car, and what we did is we gave out vouchers across the town. So people were incentivized to go on, download their wallet, and it just means
Didn't we do that at that parade?
At
that's
the
what I
parade.
mean. That's what we're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah.
We just printed
When
a
I
bunch
first
of
got
QR codes, and we were like,
I remember that. And the radio guy was announcing it, and the kids were like flocking to us.
Yeah. That was LightSats.
Okay.
You know, that was
That's right.
yeah, we've been using like different technologies, like Lightning technologies here in Berlin, like testing them or trying, and they all help. It's amazing the amount of technologies we have now compared to what we had when Bitcoin started here in El Salvador like 3 years ago. Now there's a bunch of new technologies coming, and those that are helpful we're gonna keep using, and those that don't, we're just not gonna use them. And at the end, it helps to bring the Bitcoin adoption here. I remember a lot of Bitcoiners come here, Bitcoiners for years, and they never got to use the Lightning network, only on chain. It's until you come here to Berlin that you use Lightning, which it's what it makes the circular economy possible.
Yeah,
like
when
Lightning.
they see how fast and easy
It's crazy
it is.
easy how it works.
This morning I had the my old buddy here, the new guy arrived in town, and he was paying for his breakfast in cash. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm not selling Bitcoin today. It's too high." And I said, "No." He said, "Spend and replace." And he's like, "Well, how do I replace?"
Well, if you're gonna be selling, you rather want to sell it when it's high, right?
How do you know right now it's high?
So-
Maybe this.
I don't even know.
I said, "We have to have
what
a,
is high.
What is high?
What is high?
Well, exactly. That's what I said. I don't know what the price is. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, or a few Sats is 2 eggs. Just pay her in Sats."
Right.
And
He did?
so we went to the machine. He said, "Oh, well, then we got to pay a fee there." I said, "Yeah, but we're getting the economy going here. Give them 50 cents. Let's go." So we did it. We had some fun, and but he would have paid in cash because he's saving his Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the little things
Right.
like that.
But you could easily go to one of these shops as well and say, "Listen, can you give me a bit of Bitcoin? We've got cash."
Yeah.
There are loads of them have Bitcoin saved up, and they're
it's the
happy.
scarcity mindset in terms of access to Bitcoin, because in Europe, in the US, in Western
Right.
countries,
It's harder.
you pay a fee to get the Bitcoin. So then you save it and you keep, and it's good, but we just live in the future here. Basically.
yeah.
People don't know, but we'll live in the future.
it's so true.
and so that going to a shop and say like, give me Bitcoin, I'll give you cash, and then using the Bitcoin, it just doesn't come to their mind because like, who will give me Bitcoin, right? Like,
Right.
but it's like this here, and
It's fun.
it's better that way.
Little moments every day.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should start wrapping this up here. I have no idea how long we've been on, but so what do you think? What do you think, guys? Anything you'd like to add about this concert that maybe we haven't touched on for the audience? People who aren't maybe not
Maybe we
haven't
can do
decided
a
to
quick
come yet?
recap of the whole week.
Yeah.
And
A lot of games. There's just within the conference before we do the recap. There's talking about play. There's going to be Chain Jewel as well there, and Poker is going to be played there as well. So if you're into poker, just get ready for some cash games with sats as well. Like so.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do the recap.
Do
Let's
you want
go
to
through.
highlight a couple of speakers, maybe? Or
I mean, speakers is huge. We've got like,
what's 150?
no, I'd say close to 200.
Oh, jeez.
That's crazy.
Okay.
And they come in every day.
I counted
So
150.
yeah, we've got like leaders in mining, which is Pierre Rochard. Leaders in politics, which is someone like Maya Perbeau, who's looking to become president in Suriname.
Oh, yeah.
Head of head of Van Eck, who was a recent viral video talking about how we're gonna in 10 years, once Putin dies or whatever, we're gonna go back and see what are these guys doing, and then we're gonna look at all these BRICS nations that are gonna be using Bitcoin. So the head of Van Eck will be there. You've got Stacy and Max, who are doing a keynote on the case study of a succeeding country like El Salvador. Leaders of South African circular economies like Herman van Boer, obviously Mike Peterson with opening remarks, Giacomo Zucco, who's head of Plan B, an OG, and a lot of massive educators.
We
Like,
should have a shout out here, actually.
yeah,
Great.
I mean Nicholas Berthet, who's the head of Galoy, the founder of Galoy. Galoy is the company that is basically powering adopting Bitcoin and initiated it at the start. So huge shout out to Nicholas. And there's been a recent sell for Blink as well, which is massive. Blink has been moved, and now Lucas is taking over Blink, which changes a lot of things in a good way. Yeah, Jack Cruz, who's huge in terms of decentralized health. He's huge in health. He's brought a lot of people to El Salvador who've decided to move over here just because of Jack's recommendations. Really, really smart guy.
Yeah.
Svetsky, very controversial, very intelligent. Yeah, so the list just goes on and on. We've got Simply Bitcoin with the news desks filling in the holes. So guys, if you want to be rubbing shoulders with these guys, you can also get the privileged access ticket, which is a special ticket where you get to go into the mezzanine. In the mezzanine there, you'll be able to meet with all these speakers and also all the other privileged access ticket holders, and you get to look over the art exhibition and the main stage, which is it's a special feature this year, and it's actually proven to be being really popular. So if you want to grab one of those tickets, go ahead. But yeah, guys, it's going to be a huge 2 weeks. Don't just come for the conference. Come for a week beforehand and a week afterwards, at least if you can. It's not only about that place in Salamanca and that conference, but it's about coming to the country and seeing for what it is, seeing what El Salvador is, seeing the culture.
And drink a lot of water and get some rest before you come, because it's going to be a pretty busy week.
Yeah, the 13th we have the graduation.
Yeah.
The 14th the unconference. 15th and 16th we have all of these different side events, parties, the conference itself, speakers dinner, film festival, multiple after parties, women in Bitcoin. We've got just tons. Have a look at the website. You've got afterwards down to El Zonte for day 3. That's going to be huge. You've got a Miss Bitcoin retreat. You've got Noster Day. Then you have the Roatan retreat, which is a really great opportunity for anyone who wants to see that during the week afterwards.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, so you've got the lightning tours, you've got the freedom convoy, and then obviously on the 23rd to come up here to Berlin and check this place out, see what it's like to be in a circular economy where Bitcoin is really being used as money. It's a really...
Get in touch with us before you come in terms of accommodation. If we have no idea how many people are coming up here, so it'd be good to know.
Yeah, there's a couple of new hotels now here in Berlin.
Yeah.
One is going to be inaugurated this tomorrow, actually. We were invited to it.
Oh, good.
So yeah.
That's the five-star
hotel.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Good.
and I don't know how many rooms are there, but it's a new one. Looks quite nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 5-star, but it's, And Brisas, there's more accommodation now than the previous events we have had here. So come to Berlin.
And some Airbnbs as well.
So Airbnbs.
including Quentin has the the most pimped out accommodation you're ever gonna find. This Frenchman has like there's no price to it. Let's just say.
We've got one French person at each end of town, sort of offering you
bringing in the quality.
We've got Gail and
Yeah,
Quentin.
work in progress, but yeah,
Good.
it's gonna be ready for adopting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent!
And
Good.
for the
We've
week
got a whole
afterwards.
range of
Yeah.
spots to stay.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we need to receive people here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
There you go.
Yeah. So start off at adopting and finish off in Berlin. Come and soak in some fresh mountain air and some.
Yeah, come
Geothermal
see
energy.
what's the whole fuss about. Why this, bunch of Bitcoiners living here.
Yeah.
Last year, I remember there were a lot of Bitcoiners that stay at the end here in Berlin because they came to adopting Bitcoin last November, and they were like, "I'm gonna stay," and they just stay here in Berlin. So maybe we have a few of
That
those
happens.
this year as well.
Yeah. We get messages a few every week. Well, I'm thinking of moving there. The usual, the same story over and over, and then they come back. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they
Right.
pick another spot, but it's definitely on the radar.
and especially for people who are looking to live in El Salvador, I'm a bit biased, but it's the perfect place. Honestly, it's the climate is perfect. If you're not into big towns, then San Salvador will not be for you. And if you're not into like really hot weather, then Berlin is just perfect. You have beautiful views. The climate is perfect all year round. It's the place to live in.
A
El
beautiful
Salvador.
community, a good community as well.
yeah,
as
too.
well.
That's why I'm here. I mean, the place is beautiful, but it's the community for
Yeah,
sure.
there's always something to do here. Like
Yeah.
Eco Party is having a celebration
Yeah.
later today, and all of a sudden we have hanging out at Quentin's place or Guy's place or the Standard or something going on here at the Bitcoin Center.
Yeah, active social life up here.
Yeah,
for sure.
people going to San Salvador and San Miguel, and you have a party of people going for a trip at the city, and there's always something to do here. Yeah, community is quite.
And we talk a lot about localism in Bitcoin as a side topic, and I think that's what we're doing here. It's just we're bringing back local social life and community, and all on a Bitcoin standard with value aligned people. So it's just it's
definitely
the perfect place to be in.
We're definitely immersed in the local culture. I think as our Spanish, or I speak for myself, you guys all speak Spanish, but as my Spanish is getting better, I'm feeling braver, and sometimes I'll be alone for the whole day, and I don't speak very much English. I'm more embarrassed talking in front of you guys, but if strangers, I'm good. So the immersion
really
aspect with the locals
Yes.
for me is really, really important. Like when we met your friends last week, that beautiful house. I was there the other day, just walking by. I'm like, I want to go and chat with them, and I was like, oh, I'm too shy. So I went. I just waved from the driveway and said hello, and I went into the park. But that's where we want to be, right? We're not expats in an echo
In a
chamber.
bowl, yeah.
Oh, that's
And-
huge.
Yeah, and all
Yeah,
the
you-
little businesses, all around the town. Like there's so many people doing cool little things. I found a guy. I needed some tailoring done, so I was walking up by my gym, and there's a guy sitting in this little dark house, and I see all these things hanging, and he's at a sewing machine, and I'm like, what the heck is he doing in there? So he's a tailor. So I walked in, and in my broken Spanish, I said, oh yeah, okay, come back, really good price. So,
Right.
just that little moment. I didn't have to go to San Miguel, go to the mall,
Nah.
go to some chain place to do it.
Yeah, I know. And locals are happy to have you expats here in Berlin. I talked to them, and they were a year ago. It was kind of surprising seeing all these expats. Now it's like normal.
Yeah.
It's like another Berliner more. Yeah. So yeah,
Nobody's capitalizing on one thing with us, though. Flip-flops.
yeah. There's a market there.
There's a market for, just saying, anybody who wants to start a business in Berlin.
Yeah.
Flip-flops for expats.
A lot of businesses could open here.
Yeah.
next month.
Just put some Bitcoin B there, and there's gonna be a lot of expats buying
Yeah,
them.
exactly. So I guess we'll wrap this up, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just another thanks to Bitcoin Beach for having this episode
Yes.
on the
Absolutely.
channel. It's a huge opportunity, and shout out for obviously for adopting Bitcoin. Book your flight if you haven't. Get over here, and all of the other events, and get up to Berlin. I mean, it's such a stunning
Yes.
place. It's a growing place. We're just at the beginning.
It's an interesting community here. I mean, only here you get the CFO of Mi Primer Bitcoin, the guy organizing, adopting Bitcoin, and I'm helping here with Berlin, and in the same room, casually hanging out there.
We have 11 countries here represented
11
in
countries
Berlin right now.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we are the live from the Bitcoin City. Not the Bitcoin City. Bitcoin.
No, thank you everyone for watching, and peace out.
All right.
Thank you.
And get in touch with us through any of our channels on X or YouTube. X is probably the best spot if you need to send us a direct message. Bitcoin Berlin SV. If you're coming up, you want some help, even in the Telegram group as well. Bitcoiners in El Salvador. Look us up. All right. And we are out. We are out.
Bye.